Hello students, this is chapter number 4 of geography, that is air. So in this chapter we will study about the composition of the atmosphere, structure of the atmosphere, weather and climate, and in the last we will discuss different types of wind. So let's start. Our earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. So atmosphere is essential for the survival of living things over the earth. So it provides us with the air we breathe and protect us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. So it keeps balance between the incoming solar radiations and outgoing terrestrial radiation. So that is why our earth is not too much hot and too much warm. So it is this mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. The first topic is composition of atmosphere. So here in this pie chart you can see the proportion of various gases. So the dominant gases in the atmosphere, these are nitrogen, which is 78%, and oxygen is 21%. So the rest of it, there are other gases like carbon dioxide, argon, hydrogen, helium, etc. So instead of these, tiny dust particles are also present in the air, and there is presence of water vapor also. So the nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of the nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. But plants need nitrogen for their survival, so they cannot take it directly. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of the some plants takes nitrogen from the air and change its form so that the plant can use it. So oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. So human and animal take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plant produce oxygen during the photosynthesis process. So this is why oxygen content in the air remain constant. The carbon dioxide is another important gas. So green plants use the carbon dioxide to make their food and the release oxygen. Humans or animals release the carbon dioxide. The amount of the carbon dioxide released by the human or animal seems to be equal the amount used by the plant, which makes the perfect balance. But sometimes this balance gets disturbed due to the anthropogenic activities, because human here burns the fossil fuel like coal, oil, etc. So they add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. So as a result, the increased volume of the carbon dioxide is affect the Earth's weather and climate. So due to this, we are facing the global warming like problem. So Earth's temperature is increasing year by year. So here you can see the articles in the various newspapers. So the next topic is structure of atmosphere. So here we will discuss the different layer of the atmosphere like troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So these are the five main layers. So let's discuss. The troposphere is the bottommost layer of the atmosphere. So this layer is responsible for all weather related activities or phenomena so which occur in this layer. So whether it is precipitation, wind movement, etc. So all this happen in troposphere. So average height of this layer is 13 kilometers. So above this layer there is a tropopause. So this is the layer which lie between the stratosphere and troposphere. So stratosphere extend up to 50 kilometer, as you can see in this diagram. So this layer is free from any turbulence of the air, so that is why this is suitable for flying planes and jets, etc. Another important feature of this layer is the presence of ozone. So as we know that ozone is a very important layer in the atmosphere which protect us from the ultraviolet radiation which are coming from the sun. So above this layer we have the stratopause. So again this layer lie between the mesosphere and the stratosphere. So uh, then mesosphere. So mesosphere is the third layer of the atmosphere which extend up to 80 kilometer, as you can see here. So vertical numbers in this diagram representing the height of the atmosphere in kilometers, and this line representing the increase and decrease of the temperature in the different layers of the atmosphere, right? So meteors burns in the mesosphere. When these meteors enter in the atmosphere, so these burns here in this layer. So above this layer we have mesopause, then thermosphere. So the temperature increase in thermosphere. So in thermosphere the temperature rise very rapidly with increasing height. So ionosphere is a part of this layer. So it extends between 80 to 400 kilometers. So this layer help in radio transmissions. In fact, the radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. So here you can see there is the existence of ionosphere in this layer. So above this layer we have the last, that is the topmost layer, known as exosphere. So this layer has a very thin air, light gases like the helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. The next topic is weather and climate. So weather refers to uh, uh, the day to day and hour to hour changing condition of the atmosphere. So it is calculated for a short period of time. And on the other hand, the climate refers to the average weather condition for a of a place for a long period of time, that may be more than 30 years. So with this we have finished this topic, and that is regarding the weather and climate. So there are some elements which are associated with the weather and climates. So these are the common, so we will discuss here. First is temperature. So what is temperature? So the temperature refers to the degree of hotness, that how much coldness or hotness is there, that is temperature. So the temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between the day and night but also from season to season. So during the summer time there may be more temperature, and in winter time we feel less temperature. So summer are hotter than the winter. An important factor that influence the distribution of the temperature is insolation. So what is insolation? This refers to the incoming solar radiation that comes from the sun, right? So the amount of the insolation decrease from the equator toward the pole. So because at the equator there is a direct sun rays directly hit this region, so that is why there is more insolation received by this zone, and it decreased toward the pole. And there are so many factors, because the area covered by the sun rays here smaller, and at the pole there is a large area covered by these the sun rays, right? And on the other hand, the distance traveled by the sunlight here is more in the polar region as compared to equatorial zone. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of the villages. The concrete and the metals in the buildings and the asphalt of the roads gets heated up during the daytime, and this heat is released during the night. So this is due to the terrestrial radiation, because the heat absorbed because of the short wave radiation that comes from the earth, and this energy go back to the space in the form of long waves. And so that is why if there is more concrete, and then there will be more heat, mainly in the cities as compared to the village or tree cover area. Next topic is air pressure. So what is this? So this is defined as the pressure exerted by the air, or the weight of the air on the earth's surface. So as we go up the layer of the atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. So the air pressure is higher at the sea level and decrease with the height. Horizontally, the distribution of the air pressure is influenced by the temperature of the air at a given place. So in areas where the temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. So this creates a low pressure areas, and low pressure is associated with the cloudy sky, wet weather, and in areas having the low temperature, the air is cold there. So it is therefore heavy, and heavy air sinks and creates high pressure areas. So high pressure is associated with the clear and sunny sky. So this is the weather phenomena which is related with the high pressure and low pressure. So the air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. So we will study in detail about this in the coming text. Next topic is wind. So what is wind? So we will discuss here. So the movement of the air from the high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. So you can see at the work as it blow dry leaves down the pavements or the uproots tree during a storm. So sometime when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. So at the time, wind can wind can be strong that it is difficult to walk against it. So you must have experienced it is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. So think of some of the other examples when you when strong winds have created. So uh, there may be so many problems. So wind can be broadly divided into three types. So here you can see in this diagram. So there is the winds like the permanent winds, then seasonal winds and local winds. So these are given here. So one by one we will discuss here. The first is permanent winds. The trade winds, that is the westerlies, easterlies are the permanent winds. So these blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. So that is why they are called permanent wind. So here you can see in this diagram. So as I have already told you that wind always move from high pressure to low pressure zone. So here at the polar region there is a high pressure in both the hemisphere. In the same way there are subpolar low pressure belt in both the hemisphere, and then subtropical high pressure belt in the both the hemisphere, and at the equator there is a low pressure belt, right? So here you can see the easterlies. So these are called the polar easterlies because these are coming from the eastern side, and here prevailing westerlies are here, which are running like this in both the hemisphere, right? So that is why they are known as so these winds are known as westerlies. And here you can see the trade winds which are coming from the east side, right? So these are referred as trade winds, and these winds are moving from high pressure zone to low pressure zone. Okay, so these are moving toward the equatorial low pressure belts. Next, that is a seasonal wind. So these winds change their direction in the different season. For example, the monsoon in India. So for 6 months it these winds blow from sea to land, and for 6 months these winds blow from land to sea. The next is local winds. So the impact of these winds confined to particular area, mainly in the small area, right? So that is why these kind of winds are regarded as local winds. So these blow only during a particular period of the day or a year in a small area. For example, the land and sea breeze. So do you recall the hot and dry local winds of the northern plains of India? So it is called Lu. So it is found mainly in the region like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, right? So that is the example of local wind. So here you can see the fury of cyclone. So cyclone can create a huge damage for life and property. So this was the cyclone which occurred in 1999. So it caused a huge damage to life and property in the coastal states, right? So it moves from ocean to towards land. Next topic is moisture. So what is moisture? So moisture here refers to the presence of water vapor in the air. So when water evaporate from the land and different water bodies, so it becomes a water vapor. So moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. So when the air is full of water vapors, we call it a humid day. So as the air gets warmer, so its capacity to hold the water vapor increase, and so it becomes the more and more humid. So on a humid day the clothes takes a longer to dry, and sweat from our bodies does not evaporate easily, so making us feeling very uncomfortable. So when the water vapor rises, so it start cooling. The water vapors condense and causing formation of the droplets of water. So clouds are just masses of such a water droplets. So in a cloud there is a lot of droplets. So when these droplets of the waters becomes too heavy to float in the air, they come down on the earth surface as a precipitation. So here you can see in these figures or in these pictures, right? So precipitation is occurring here from the clouds. So this is different types of rainfall, as you can see: cyclonic rainfall, then orographic rainfall, and convectional rainfall. So let's discuss about the different type of rainfall here. So the precipitation that comes down to the earth in the liquid form is called rain. So most of the groundwater comes from the rainwaters, plants, rainwaters and plants help preserve the water. So when trees on hillside are cut and rainwaters flow down the bare mountains and can cause heavy damage in low-lying areas. So here you can see the low lying area, right? And this is also the low lying area. So when there is no vegetation cover, it will cause huge damage in the form of flood. So on the basis of the mechanism, there are three types of rainfall. That is the convectional rainfall. So this occur due to the intensive heating of the earth surface. So rainfall occur in this way. So when warm air goes upward and ultimately it cools down, and then condensation start, right? And next is the orographic rainfall. So when there is a obstacle or hindrance in the way of the wind, then the wind will rise like this, and the air will rise like this, and there will be formation of cloud, and ultimately the air will cool down here, and then finally the precipitation occur like this. So this is orographic rainfall. So it occurs mainly in the hilly area where there is a hindrance or obstacle in the path of air. The next is cyclonic rainfall. So here you can see in the picture. So this is a cyclonic rainfall, right? So many cyclones occur in Caribbean Sea and Bay of Bengal. So these cyclones move toward the land side. Mainly the coastal states are hit by these cyclones. So this kind of rainfall occurs due to the cyclone. So the rainfall is very important for the survival of plant and animals. So it brings a fresh water to air surface. So if the rainfall is less, the water scarcity and drought like situation may occur. So on other hand, if it is more, the flood take place. So with this we have finished this chapter. Thank you.